Today, we're going to look at how to inbox.
That's right. Today's conversation is, let's say, aptly named Mastering Deliverability. But in part one of this two-part conversation, we're going to focus exclusively on the technical setup, things you have to, let's say, put together, your tech stack, if you will, for getting 60+% open rates. Is that the green pasture where we're going?
Yeah, I love it. This is definitely my
Yeah.
field. Like, obviously, I sleep, dream, all technical.
Yeah.
Like, for me, this
Now,
is what I'm
it,
thinking all the time.
it's and that's true, but it's worth stating that we've actually recorded this episode before and we trashed it
Is
because
this true?
probably, hold on, for the first time, is it true that the first time in
More than a
6 years,
Yeah, something like that.
I don't think we basically had a micro argument on a live episode. We're like, what? So we trashed it, and then we decided later what the hell was going
Yeah, what
on.
was going on?
And I think Jeremy and I, we usually are two, one mind, two people. But on this conversation, I was taking an approach of, oh, you need to approach this with strategy. And Jeremy had okay, there's technical things you need to deliver. Those are both true. And we decided those
Let's
are
do two
two
episodes.
podcast episodes.
That's right. So rather than arguing about, hey, should be, but it doesn't matter, we're going to just basically split it into two. And today, it's my day. We're going to talk about technical. I do expect you, Jack, to come up with some technical stuff because obviously you're not a
Oh, come
rookie.
on. I'm
You
no
know a lot of
slouch
things.
over here.
That's true.
That's
That's
right.
true. 100%.
All right.
So let's just ping pong. What you got on your list? What should a
Yep.
listener really pay attention to in order to make sure they inbox in this year in
All
2024?
right. Well, we're talking technical inboxing. What should a listener pay attention to? If you're not already using quickmail.com, use it. If you don't want to
Yes.
do cold outreach yourself, salesbread.com will bring you a lead a day. Sounds good. All right, Jeremy. First things first, even though it is mid 2024, I believe that the basics still need to be paid close attention to. I'm talking about
Yes.
setting up SPF, setting up DChem, and maybe DMARC if you want a gold star overachiever, right?
Yeah, 100%. On top of that, I will also say whenever you're having custom domain tracking, it's mandatory now to do SSL. You have to have all your links as SSL, which means like HTTPS something. So
There
if
you
you
go.
have your custom domain tracking and it doesn't do that, you're gonna have a lot of problems. And actually, you should even go to the point of having. I know, I'm sorry, it's very technical, but you're gonna dumb
Hey,
it
this is
down
your
for
day. This is your
everyone.
day, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Go crazy. We're all excited.
You need to have you need to have SSL, especially if you want to have unsubscribe in a header. Now, what is unsubscribe in a header? It's a little bit of technical thing that is done by your software, so that when someone receives an email in their Gmail client or whatever, there is a small like option to unsubscribe on the email. On the header, you get like the ability to click next to the title, I think it is, or the recipient, and that way. If you don't have SSL, it won't display it, and then you will be really penalized. So it started in February this year, and it's
We
been
need a 10-minute
enforced in
timer.
April.
I
Oh,
know this is your
there
day,
you go.
but let's not go crazy here.
Can I put 20 minutes? No, okay, good. All right, so SSL on custom
Wait,
domain
I got
tracking and
one
SPF,
more
DKIM,
links.
and DMARC.
We're right here talking about links. Again, even in this modern age, yes, you can get away with a lot of links and still have good deliverability, but I'm going to make a shout out to my cold email newbies. If you're not super familiar with deliverability, do yourself a favor, limit links to one. And ideally, it's a whitelisted link like a YouTube or a LinkedIn that's going to have absolutely no impact on your deliverability.
Yeah, or Google Drive, one of those big,
Or
big
Google
provider.
Drive.
Yeah, that's a really good one. It's also to avoid promotional tabs. So you could still inbox, but if you have too many links, you may also end up in promotional tab. You can still sort of like inbox, but not in the primary inbox, which will be annoying.
Nice.
Um, I
Should
would
I
say
hold on
also,
to my favorite? Should I hold on to
yeah,
my favorite to the end?
yeah, sure, no problem.
Okay.
I'll drop a couple one here. Avoid spam words. That's still a thing. Like, don't put like free, sales, dollar, whatever type of
Mm.
thing. Like, try to avoid it, at least not in the original outreach. When you have a conversation with a prospect, why not? Or the lead, okay, but not in the original one. And I would
I love
say,
that. So basically, hold off on anything that can sound quasi spammy until a positive response has been earned, and then
yeah,
you're off to the races. There you go.
it goes further actually, because if you actually start your email with dear sir or dear something, like I could say, not even like dear sir or madam,
That's
which we
right.
know is going to
Yeah.
be on a cold outreach. But if you have like dear Jack, for example, or dear Jeremy, you still get penalized by spam filters these days.
But
So
Jeremy,
careful.
it, take me to a really what's the word, like a conservative written language culture in German. What do you say? Like, isn't it dear? But obviously it would be the German form. But there's some cultures actually still say dear, and it's normal, right?
Yes, but they wouldn't use the word dear. And I
There
think
you
it's been
go.
like overused. So I think per language, actually, if you actually contact someone in France, use French, you will have a better deliverability than if you're using English.
Yes. And it makes me think that spam words may actually be a little bit softer on different languages. Like, imagine if you said free, but in French, maybe the spam filters aren't as used to that word appearing. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
speculating. Go back to the hard stuff.
Bear in mind that most of them are actually English speaking, so makes sense.
There you go.
I will start with another thing as well, which is use a trusted DSP. I know now in your day and age, a lot of people are sort of like trying to bypass the annoyance of creating a Google inbox, the annoyance of
Mm.
creating a Microsoft inbox
The cost involved.
for,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. For some of like email infrastructure softwares, you have to be extremely careful because of a few reasons. First of all, nothing tops Google IPs. So if you have a Google IP, then you're good, which means basically sending with Gmail. Um, with Outlook, it's slightly different. If you're bad, they put you into a certain IP pool that is not for the best and the greatest.
The
So
timeout corner.
yeah, exactly. You have to be slightly careful. But here's the super important thing. I'm gonna say you have to use an auto warmer, but you have to be extremely careful because if the auto warmer is just filled with people with, those sort of like email infrastructure thing, and none of them are using Google and Microsoft, you're going to warm up against those external providers. And when you're going to start contacting your first prospect in Google or in Microsoft, Google or Microsoft will say, I have no idea of who this guy is. So your auto warmer will have done nothing. The only thing you would have done if you put like a Google inbox inside is like you would have warmed them up. So you would have warmed their email
Fair enough.
infrastructure. So be careful with that. Not all auto warmer have the same quality. That's very important.
So for technical setup, it sounds like the recommendation is get on the Google train and
Yep.
ride it until it changes. There you go.
Yep, it's still Google that outbox the best at the moment, that inbox the best. So I would definitely go with Google. Um, Another
We're going
technical
with Google.
stuff. Yeah, go with Google. Definitely. It's annoying, it's painful, but that's a way to do it if you want to inbox better. The other thing I would say is spin tax everything. Spin tax everything. Title, every line, change hi, hey, ho, whatever.
Let me interrupt for a second.
Go.
Jeremy, you're going to take us through Spintax, basically dynamically changing your text without infinity different templates. Anyways, this is the single light bulb moment of 2024 where it is painfully clear that the best cold email campaigns use the crap out of Spintax or dynamic text. It's the deliverability hack of the year, if you ask me.
Yeah.
But please carry on, Jeremy. Tell us, how do we do it?
No, that's a very good point. Especially I'm thinking as I'm speaking to one customer that sends 40,000 emails a day, and they have like 200 inboxes, and they spin tax the hell out of it. Like every line is a spin tax, which basically is the rotation, like different variations. So if you think about it,
So
each line has a
give us an
different chance of
example.
doing something.
Give us an example.
Well, the example would be hi, hey, hello, and then the first name. And so one email will
Are
use
you open
hi.
to a meeting? Would you like to set up a call? Do you have a
Exactly.
calendar link?
Exactly.
Different ways of saying kind of the same thing, which to me, I'm waiting for TensorFlow to wise up and say, these are all call request sentences. I'll treat them the same, but that's not
That'll be
really
a
what we're
different
seeing.
episode, as it will be really difficult. They will not need to understand what the emails really says. And even with ChatGPT is not quite. Anyway, we are diverging here. So let's go back. One more thing is if you want to have extra bonuses, you could remove the open tracking. We know, when you're tracking opens, sure, you're going to get insights, but at the same time, at the price of a little bit of deliverability and also text only. Even though you may just write text, your email provider or your email client, sorry, will actually send HTML. So, I mean, with QuickMail, you will have to click a box, the tick box that says text only. And then in this case, it will be plain text. But then you will lose the ability also to track opens, right? And that's one of the things, and links.
Jeremy, let me throw one at you here. I know you're going to get to it, so let me kick off. Bounce rate, keep it under 5%. Again, it's one of the basic things, but you can't do a good job inboxing, especially now if you have a bounce rate 5 and up percent.
Yeah, I
So
would
that
agree.
just means scrubbing your list with a good tool. I actually use several tools. So sometimes scrubbing email lists more than once to triple check that these are going to not bounce. Finding good tools is important. So,
That's a
but you're
good
on a
one.
roll. Okay.
I didn't
Yeah.
have it on my list. I have a last one, which is a pretty important thing in a sense is when we're actually sending a campaign with an inbox that is declining in deliverability, it's only going to get worse. So if you want to keep on inboxing, you need to put this inbox aside, let it recover, and then change it by another inbox. And the cool thing is we just released that this week in QuickMail. So, and if you're watching this episode, it's been released a few
So
weeks
you
back.
no longer have to worry about checking. Is this a healthy inbox? Should we
That's
swap it out?
that's right.
Right.
A lot of my successful agencies were actually looking every week on, okay, right, what inboxes is not delivering as well, and then they swap it in order to keep inboxing, and then now we do it automatically for them every day. So, huge time savers. So
Yeah.
when you have
And
200 inboxes, it makes a lot of difference, right?
absolutely. So we're at a minute and 25 left, and this is the first hint of inbox rotation or even multi-inbox that we've covered in the technical setup for mastering deliverability. That's a bit surprising. I think a lot of us are embracing this multi-inbox and even inbox rotation world, but it's worth
Good
saying
point.
you cannot overload one inbox anymore. You need to distribute the volume over several inboxes and then use what Jeremy just said, intelligent AI that's going to make sure that your inboxes that are struggling get retired essentially, and the next one on deck takes over. Because, yeah, go ahead, Jeremy.
Yeah, no, I like 100% agree with you. And in fact, the previous episode, we talked about volume as well. So low volume is not a guarantee for inboxing, but it's probably because they miss all the other technical things that we were saying. And so therefore, like low volume didn't make any difference. But once you master all those technical stuff,
Yeah.
then yes, you want to rotate. So you keep on the
Ooh.
low volume at a high, lot
19
of
seconds
inboxes.
left. The domain extension matters. Use a .com.
It's true. It's true, actually. We haven't done that. We should actually, and now we have the deliverability stats. We should actually do another episode on like what actual TLD, which is like domain, is actually inboxing better than the other. In doubt, use .co. It used to be, .com. It used to be the .co was absolutely trash, but it turns out that it's getting better. So,
Hold it.
oh,
Hold it. That's
sorry.
another episode. If you want more, you
It's
can
a
check out
teaser.
course.quickmail.io. Again, Jeremy, thanks for a great episode.
Thanks for indulging me, Jack, with all my technical stuff and being such a good sport. I like it.